中共强力宣传对台军演，共军发布央视记者随舰拍摄画面，称共军徐州舰与国军宜阳舰在台湾东部外海对峙，双方距离仅5海里。中共火箭军部队9日清晨模拟夜袭台湾本岛，演练发射多轮导弹。国军透过联合勤监侦系统绵密掌握，防空部队也保持高度警戒。
中国围台军演，那么只会让全世界看到，他是和平的破坏者。我想我们的政府都会沉着面对。那海巡署的弟兄们也在24海里的这个第一线上，那全程监视，做好这个我们该做的工作。我们不示弱，不回避，那也不畏惧。我想这个3不政策，确保领海的安全，这还是我们的底线。
中共环台军演，截至9日中午，国军累计侦获超过上百架共机，18艘共舰在台海周边活动。国防部公布影片，谴责中共蓄意制造台海紧张，破坏和平稳定，其中也包含监控中共军舰影像，声明国军坚实备战，维护自由民主，捍卫国家安全。现场电视池千里、刘姿莹台湾台报道。
中共环台军演第3天，在外海进行实弹射击训练，我方持续监控。国防部、海巡署更接连公布多支影片，展现我勤监侦能力。
本会海巡署将持续应用雷达线上部署之巡航舰艇，维持2对1模式，严密监控共舰动态。
你现在已经严重破坏地域和平稳定。
8号下午，中共太原舰和我国海军海巡署对峙的画面曝光，由海军迪化舰担任第1层护卫，海巡艇在第2层护卫，近距离监控并适时广播警告，阻却共舰侵入我国24里限制水域。
中共长期一直希望把台湾海峡变成所谓的内海。这不仅违反事实，也违反国际相关的规范。因为中国的胁迫，我们看到一面是压迫跟窒息，但是也另外一面，因为中国这样的推力，反而让台湾跟世界各国主流的国家增加了很多合作。
因中共持续武力威胁，国军5月将扩大在共军可能对台2栖登陆的7到8处红色沙滩实施试登与战备攻防检验。这也是国军罕见针对可登陆沙滩实施全面性、大规模战备体检。新唐人亚太电视黄亮简、郑永如台湾台北报道。
中共8日起发动所谓环台岛战备警巡联合利剑3天军事演习，美军发布照片，日前结束美日韩三方军演的尼米兹号航空母舰打击群，6日在台湾北方的东海操演，8日在台湾东方的菲律宾海域操演，并表示经常和盟国及合作伙伴互动和行动，维护自由开放的印太地区。美方5日重申对台湾承诺，多艘航空母舰在台湾海峡附近。
And I believe that there are additional carriers operating within the Taiwan Strait or nearby. These naval operations are happening in international waters. It's something that we do on routine and do exercises within international waters.
8日，美军 P-8A 海神式巡逻机从台湾南方的巴士海峡飞入台湾西南空域，进入中共军演区域。专家研判，在搜集共军演习相关军事参数。去年8月中共围台军演，美军 P-8A 也曾经飞入。美国国务院和 AIT 表示，密切关注北京行动，美方有信心及拥有足够能力确保区域和平稳定，履行对于国家安全的承诺。欧洲联盟执委会9日表示，关于共军在台海和台湾周边的越演越烈的军事活动，包括入侵台湾防空识别区以及越过台湾海峡中线，表达关切，强调不应该片面或以武力改变现状，呼吁保持克制。
If Communist China invades Taiwan,I think that is certainly, if the American people support this, the Congress will follow.
4月11号到28号，美国菲律宾肩并肩年度联合军演规模历年最大，美军就出动12000人，澳洲、日本也派员参加。此外，美军第4舰队正扩大无人舰和无人机的训练计划。美国新闻网站防务1号4号报道，这有助于美军未来在印太地区应对中共的灰色地带骚扰行动，也包括防卫台湾免于中共攻击。目前还有很大的学习空间。新唐人亚太电视池千里、张东旭台湾报道。
As China's highest geothermal power station in terms of elevation, Yangyi Geothermal Power Station in China's Tibet has generated more than 500 million kilowatt hours of electricity since it was put into operation in 2018.
杨峪地热电站投影以来，累计运行时间35000小时，年均运行时间8700小时。我们只取温度不取水，零排放、零污染，全回灌。
Every year, it can help cut 420,000 tons of carbon dioxide emissions, 6,200 tons of nitrogen oxide, 12,000 tons of sulfur dioxide, and save 116,000 tons of standard coal. Geothermal energy is heat energy stored in the earth, which is clean and sustainable. Tibet has rich geothermal resources. With an estimated investment of 480 million yuan, the station's Phase 2 project is expected to provide more application scenarios in the fields of heating, vegetable greenhouses, and medical and healthcare.
法国总统马克宏结束访中行程后，接受欧洲政治新闻网 Politico 和法国回声报访问时表示，欧洲人面临的问题在于加速台湾危机对我们有利吗？没有。更糟的是，欧洲人自认应该在这个议题上成为追随者，根据美国的节奏和中方过度反应做调整。马克宏还告诉记者，欧洲人无法解决乌克兰危机，我们又怎么能可靠的在台湾议题上说小心，若你乱来，我们会出面。欧洲议会对中关系代表团团长鲍瑞汉狠批马克宏访中结果比预期的更糟。以他对中共和台湾的立场，马克宏丧失了成为欧洲领袖的任何主张。这场火也烧到了大西洋对岸。美国共和党籍参议员卢比奥在推特发布影片质疑马克宏是否代表欧洲。如果是的话，那有些事情必须要改变了。
We're pretty heavily involved in Ukraine right now. We're spending a lot of our taxpayer money on a European war. And I've supported that because I think it's in the national interest of the United States to be allies to our allies. But if our allies' position, if in fact Macron speaks for all of Europe, and their position now is they're not going to pick sides between the U.S. and China over Taiwan, maybe we shouldn't be picking sides either. Maybe we should basically say we're going to focus on Taiwan and the threats that China poses, and you guys handle Ukraine and Europe.
对于马克宏在中国的行径，推特出现一个新的动词 Macroning， 意指刻意增加对中国依赖，同时就天真与提高欧盟战略自主的需求向欧洲伙伴说教。新台电视张铁林综合报道。
These leaks are serious, and we can tell that by what these leaks consist of. A series of classified documents which were printed, photographed and then uploaded to a gaming chat platform, Discord, in late February and early March. Went largely under the radar until they garnered further traction and attention when a portion of them were posted on a separate online platform, 4chan. What we know is that several of them contain high-level, top-secret pieces of information, including on China and the militaries of Ukraine and Russia. At the moment, we don't know who is responsible. The official who has details regarding the source of this link says that the person to blame could be anyone, and most concerning for the US, hundreds if not thousands of people could have cast their eyes on those files since they were posted online. The repercussions for the individual responsible for the leak could be detrimental too. In the past, individuals who are either employees of US intelligence agencies or contractors who have been found to have leaked this sort of highly classified information have faced years behind bars. An investigation is ongoing amongst the Pentagon chiefs, who have already lowered the amount of sensitive information that is being shared. There are also countries with close ties to the US mentioned in these files. Israel, South Korea and France. We've already had a response from each of those governments. One official from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office in Israel says that it firmly rejects a claim made in one of these leaked documents that the Israeli foreign intelligence agencies were urging its own employees and citizens to take to the streets as part of those widespread protests against the government last month. South Korea, too, saying it will have necessary consultations with the US side after leaked documents suggested US officials had spied on allies in Seoul, and France denying that there had been any French soldiers in Ukraine, given that was too one of the claims as part of those leaked